We got ourselves some Week 15 action as the regular season is nearing a close, and the Atlanta Falcons, who with a win will clinch a playoff berth, taking on the Chicago Bears, also in the playoff hunt, trying to avenge their 4-game losing streak. Let's go third down as Carson Wentz, you might as well call him Kim Jong-un, because he's launching nukes, finding Gavin Escobar, go fleet, for a gain of 42, the former Dallas Cowboy, with a big gain right there. Second down and goal, Carson Wentz his brittles, and he's going to find his man in the end zone. Julio hit the stretch. That's Julio Jones for an Atlanta Falcons touchdown, and they would take the lead 7-0. Third down and 2 here for the Bears as Tevin Coleman finding the hole like my girlfriend did last night for a nice run. Coleman had a very good start to the year and has been a little bit quiet since the midway point, but he's still been good. Then on second down, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be sacked by Frank Clark, the former Seattle Seahawk, forcing a third down, which would lead to a Chicago Bears punt. Falcons have it here as Carson Wentz, former number 2 overall pick from North Dakota State University, finding Michael Thomas. Thomas with the hurdle, and Thomas down the sideline. Excellent tackle at the 1-yard line, but still a very nice gain nonetheless from Thomas. First and goal from the 1 as Carson Wentz is under a ton of pressure. And here comes Daddy with the vodka. That's Dietrich Wise with the sack. That would lead to a Atlanta field goal. So now it's 10-7 as Alshon Jeffrey on third down and 9 would convert for a first down. As you can see, he held on to the football there. Now, third down and goal from the 5 as Chicago trying to put some points on the board. Jimmy Garoppolo hoping he gets lucky, and he did get lucky. He's lucky that he wasn't intercepted. That would lead to a Chicago field goal. Now 10-3 as Carson Wentz. He will take a shot deep on the dot. What a catch by Gavin Escobar, and what a pass from Wentz. As the Falcons stop it at a 43, Carson Wentz, very next play, looking to throw it, has plenty of time, finds Julio Jones with the juke move. Jones got injured and returned later in the drive. Second down and 7, Carson Wentz looking to throw it. You might as well call him Kim Jong-un because he's launching nukes. And he'd be picked off in the end zone by Tony Lippett, a converted wide receiver out of college. And the Bears would turn it over. Only down by 7, still trying to make this one a little bit closer as Jimmy Garoppolo on second down got the moves like Jaga heaving it up for Malcolm Mitchell, and Mitchell would bring it all the way to the 19-yard line. Big play right there. Now the clock is ticking. Well, it's not ticking, but there's only 14 seconds to go. Bears out of timeouts as Tevin Coleman able to get out of bounds, so the Bears don't have to, it's not like they won't score. So the Bears probably should have gone for the field goal there, but instead, on second down, they ran the ball and were unable to score. So it's still 10-3 as bad coaching from Joe Ditka, bad game management from Jimmy Garoppolo, I guess a mix, as Jimmy Garoppolo finds Mark Andrews, who's been very good since he was acquired from the New Orleans Saints a few weeks ago. And then on first and goal, Tevin Coleman, did he get in? It looked like he did, but if you take a look at the replay, it's awfully close. There are a number of players in the area. The referees are going to say no, and there wasn't really a challenge on this play. It was just that his knee was down before the end zone, yada, yada, yada. And on second and goal, it doesn't really matter as Tevin Coleman would find the end zone untouched like weekend homework, and the Chicago Bears would tie this game up. They are making it a game, 10 apiece. As let's see how Atlanta will be able to come back. They have not touched the ball, I don't think, yet in the second half, as Carson Wentz on second down and 12 would be sacked by Armonte Bryant. Nice play right there, setting up a third down and 22 for Atlanta, as Carson Wentz, he would launch a bomb down the field, and he would connect with Damiere Byrd going upstairs where Grandma hides the cookies. Byrd flying to the football, getting to the 3-yard line. Big conversion right there. First and goal, Devontae Freeman is going to be stopped. Excellent play by the defensive lineman. And then third and goal, it would be deja vu as Devontae Freeman loses another 3 yards. That's Luke Kuechly with the play. Atlanta will be forced to kick a field goal with Justin Yoon, Mr. Irrelevant, and they would take the lead 13-10. as Jimmy G looking to throw it. The former Eastern Illinois Panther on 3rd down and 1. It would be incomplete. That will force a 3 and out. So Atlanta has it 3rd down and 6. And they would do what the Bears did and join the 3 and out trade as Wentz has all the time in the world, but he'd only get 2 yards from his tight end. So a pair of punts, and Chicago has it here on 3rd down and 6. Exactly where Atlanta was on their last drive is Jimmy Garoppolo looking to throw it. He thinks he has Mark Andrews up the middle, but a nice play from Deion Jones, and the Bears have another 3 and out. So a lot of 3 and outs, not great offense at this point as Carson Wentz on 2nd down has more time than someone waiting at McDonald's drive-thru. He would find Julio Jones ending the 1st down streak, if you will, or the non-first down streak. 1st and goal, Devontae Freeman. Here comes the boom. Luke Kuechly with the force. Kuechly would pick it up, and Atlanta gets the football back. Big play from Kuechly. That could give the Bears a ton of momentum. All they need to do is just not turn over the football as on 1st down. Khalil Mack, the sack attack from the red and black with the sack. 3rd down and 7. So a 1st down would be nice, but I said all they had to do was not turn over the ball, and it's going to be intercepted by Trey Waynes. So that likely ends the game. 2:31 to go. Not looking good for Chicago as Carson Wentz still throwing the ball. Interesting play call from Coach Future as he finds Thomas Duarte, and then 1st and goal, Devontae Freeman finds the end zone. Pretty much icing this game as Atlanta now up by 10. But Chicago still thinks they have a fighting shot. 2nd and 7. That's going to be Frank Clark with his 2nd sack of the game. And then on 4th and 18, Jimmy Garoppolo scrambling. That was Frank Clark's 2nd sack of the game. I think the one before that was by Khalil Mack. My apologies. That's how this game ends, and the Atlanta Falcons clinch a playoff berth for the 2nd straight season by winning this one 20-10. As the Falcons were just the all-around better team. Jimmy Garoppolo made some questionable passes, questionable decisions, and Atlanta definitely deserved to win this game. But the Bears, they're now 7-7. They've lost 5 straight and are currently not projected to make the playoffs, so they're definitely hoping for wins for the last 2 weeks. As the Browns taking on the Jets, and the Cleveland Browns have clinched the playoffs, led by rookie quarterback Daniel Jones, who's only started a handful of games. As this was only a 1-point game, very close. But the Browns, they've been in a tight battle with the Steelers all season. It looks like Cleveland has an edge as the Steelers have sort of been falling off the map a little bit the past few weeks. As good win right there. And then a tank bowl. Texans and Titans, both teams are already long gone from playoff contention, but the Texans do get the win. The Titans are now tied for the worst team in the OFL. Texans are not the worst team in the OFL, but their pick should probably be in the top 10, if not top 5. Solid game from Big Ben Roethlisberger, the veteran quarterback, the human donut, if you will, as a lot of sacks and a few interceptions. John Johnson, Jalen Ramsey. Texans have quite a solid secondary. And then the Lions lose by 1, 25-24. So the Lions are now 7-7. The ONFC of North is very interesting as the Vikings have sort of fallen behind. But the Lions and Bears are both 7-7, and the Packers are 1 game ahead of them. Meanwhile, the Giants, they've been sort of on and off this season, and it looks like they're pretty much done if they were not already. So that's one less team in the hectic ONFC East to worry about. I couldn't get that out. And then the Rams clinch the ONFC West for the 2nd straight season, beating the Cincinnati Bengals. They are now 11-3. So them and the Falcons are the top 2 seeds in the ONFC. I know they played. I forgot who won, if anyone wants to check that. I think that was week 6 or 7. And the Rams, they made the OFL Bowl last year, unable to win it. They lost to the Steelers, who we'll be talking about right now. But the Rams hoping to get revenge. Maybe this is their year of Lamar Jackson, as the Steelers got off to a very good start this year and are sort of falling off a little bit. They're now 9-5, should make the playoffs as a wild card, or they still have a chance in the division if the Browns really fall off. I'd be very surprised if Pittsburgh does not make the playoffs, but they certainly have not had a great stretch for the past few weeks. And then the Colts, who should be tanking, beat the Panthers as Wes Lunt has his first bad game of the year. And that's pretty much it for the Panthers. They made the playoffs last year when they were trying to tank, and this year when they were trying to make the playoffs, they didn't. Very good game from Kareem Hunt, but outside of that, Carolina definitely does have some work to do this offseason, but they have a pretty good foundation, potentially a franchise quarterback in Wes Lunt and his 52 overall self. And then the Patriots and the Bills. New England has a legit shot as Tyree Jackson's playing really well as of the past few weeks. Josh Jacobs, 2.8 yards a carry. He's a meme. But New England and the AFC East is a very interesting division. Buffalo definitely has the edge, but New England and maybe the Jets do have a fighting chance. As the Patriots, they were a very good team last year. They made the playoffs last year, and it was a very slow start for them, but they're starting to play a little bit better. And then the Dolphins, they just hired a new coach, Daniel Horowitz. I hope I said that right. They just lost to the worst team in the OFL, the Baltimore Ravens, who should be tanking. The Ravens are now tied with the Titans for the worst record in the league. I think if the season ended today, Baltimore would still get the first pick. The Dolphins go down to 5-8, likely ending any chance of making the playoffs. But there's always next year, as the AFC East will still be a giant question mark. As my New Orleans Saints, the team that I am using, who just lost 35-0 last week against the Rams, beat Tampa Bay 38-13. I said I was going to start Josh Allen. I forgot, and I guess I don't regret it. Jacoby Brissett was solid, and with this win, the Saints improved to 10-4 and clinch a berth in the playoffs. They likely will not win the division since Atlanta is a game ahead, and Atlanta owns the tiebreaker, so we will likely come in as the 5 seed playing maybe Dallas or Green Bay, depending on what happens for the last couple of weeks. The Vikings lose to the Chargers 28-14, so the Viking season is basically over with, as they certainly have a talented team, and they'll certainly make a run next year in the NFC East, as that division is quite evenly matched. But this year, the Vikings were the head and shoulders worst team, even though they weren't even that bad. As you can see, James Bradbury with 16 tackles. That looks like a good thing, but it's not, because chances are the receivers were covering caught the ball. And then the Cardinals lose to the Seahawks in a big game, 31-20. So the Seahawks are now the 6th seed, and Arizona is now out of the playoffs right now. They're 7-7. The Cardinals do certainly have a shot to make it, and they barely missed out last year because of the Seahawks, and they don't want that to happen again this year. As Cardinals coach Matt LaFleur / Nick DeCoach, definitely one of the more interesting characters in the league. Very curious to see what he thinks of this loss. And the Packers with a nice win over the Eagles, as the Eagles had controlled the NFC East a couple weeks ago, but now it doesn't look like they do. And meanwhile, the Packers take the lead in their division. Very curious to see how the NFC North finishes off, with the Packers having the slight momentum over the Bears and the Lions, as Baker Mayfield and the Packers offense definitely one of the most talented in the entire OFL. And then the Cowboys beating the Redskins, so Dallas is definitely in the driver's seat in the NFC East, as Brian Lewerke got the start. He broke his ribs back in Week 8, I believe, against the Eagles, and he has not played since. It was either that week or it might have been Week 3 when he broke it against the Giants. I don't remember, but it was one of the games that we did watch of the Redskins, and it's definitely not looking good for them. They're around the middle of the pack, so I'd be a little bit surprised if they make it, but the Cowboys aren't clear-cut for the division, so anything's possible. And then here's a look at the standings. Here's a look at the teams who have clinched the playoffs and have clinched their respective divisions. The Jaguars and Rams have clinched their divisions in the... well, they're in different conferences. I was about to make it seem like they were in the same conference. So the Jaguars and Rams clinched their divisions, and then the Broncos, Browns, Saints, and Falcons have all clinched the playoffs. 6 spots down, 6 to go.